Hi, welcome to Celebrating Culture. This is a very special episode as we showcase those who are caring for today's youth, whether it be child advocacy or those that are homeless and on the streets. We're coming to you from the French Quarter, just outside New Orleans. Behind me is Covenant House, where they have more than 200 youths who have been given a second chance from life on the streets. Human trafficking is a major epidemic in America. In this episode, we're going to present to you a few nonprofits making an extra effort to rescue those who have been victims of human trafficking. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Celebrating Culture. We're here right now with the West St. Tammany Exchange Club, and I'm with Kelly Cox at a great barbecue. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
We got this great barbecue going on in downtown Covington. What's it about?
Well, this event is specifically to raise money for local nonprofits. We are a division of the Exchange Club, which is a national organization, but we are the West St. Tammany Exchange Club. So all of the money that we raise stays right here in our community. And that's what we're doing this year.
How long have you been doing it?
We've been having this event for 8 years.
You've done some great nonprofits in the past.
We absolutely have. And this year we have 2 outstanding nonprofits. We have the West St. Tammany YMCA, and then we have the Youth Service Bureau.
I'm here with Mary Slazer. She's one of the beneficiaries, or her nonprofit is, of the Ultimate Tailgate Party.
And with the Youth Service Bureau, and the Ultimate Tailgate Party benefits our CASA program, which is court-appointed special advocates. These are highly trained and supervised adult volunteers who speak up in court for children in the foster care system. We've been providing this in St. Tammany Parish, and since 1989, every year over 500 children in St. Tammany and Washington parishes will spend time in foster care. And we provide advocates to speak up for their best interests and to help judges find them safe and permanent homes.
So last year, one of the groups you did was Wounded War Heroes.
Yes, they were one of our beneficiaries.
My name is Matt King, and I'm with Wounded War Heroes. And this is a wonderful organization. What they do is they get our veterans, our Louisiana veterans, especially Southeast Louisiana veterans, and they put them in the outdoors. They gets them back out of the house and out of in front of the television and off the couch, and it puts them outside, enjoying, our thousands of natural resources that we have here in Louisiana. It has changed my life for the better.
I'm a member of Wounded War Heroes, and it's a 501c3 nonprofit. Instead of prescribing medicines or prescribing outdoor activities or hobbies and such, you do those things, and it's working wonders without the use of medication.
How many teams will be barbecuing?
We have 14 teams out here, and I can't speak highly enough about these barbecue teams. They're our heart and soul of this event. They come out here. These guys have been out. They started setting up yesterday. They've been out here cooking some of them since 3 a.m. this morning, if not sooner. So they are providing all of the food for the anticipated 500 to 700 guests. And that's the barbecue and the sides. So again, their contribution is massive.
Last year, Swinell Ritchie.
Swinell Ritchie did win, and they are back this year. They're trying to keep their crown.
And with Todd Warner, who won the championship last year.
Yeah, the grand championship last year.
Tell us about what it takes to win a championship.
Well, it takes a lot of planning, and when you're out here and you're sweating in the heat, trying to make sure you execute your plan, that's hard to do. But it's all about the little details and making sure you have them written down. We have little alarms on all of our phone, making sure we don't miss anything.
They take what you've prepared, they bring them in a back area and evaluate them.
Correct. The judges will taste all of them for appearance, taste, tenderness, those sort of things.
I'm Betsy Tarkington, and I have been involved in the Tailgate Party since the very beginning. Done the patron party for 2 years. We put about in the neighborhood of $90,000 back into the community every year for certain causes, families and children primarily. It's very exciting, and this is really a blast of a party.
And then when the guests come, they pay one fee to get in?
Correct. When the guests come, they pay $75 per head unless they are a sponsor. If you are a sponsor, then you get a certain amount of tickets allocated to you. And all of those tickets are all inclusive.
Now also you have a silent live auction.
Every year we've had a silent and a live auction. We have some autographed football. We have a Drew Brees jersey.
So Kelly, if people want to find out about your organization, what's your website?
StTammanyExchange.org.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show and have an awesome night tonight. And
thank you.
Keep up the good work you guys have been doing for years.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We're going to be serving some barbecue shrimp
Nice.
some pork tenderloin with some fig bourbon glaze.
So chicken and ribs turning first, and then we're going to do pulled pork after that.
Smoked macaroni and cheese with pork belly.
A homemade aioli that we made, and it's just pure barbecue delight goodness.
What's the secret to taking them down this year?
The secret is I came at 3 this morning, and it was really tough to get here that early. No, I'm kidding. I did not come at 3, but they did.
You just have to have the right combination of doing 100 different things right all at the same time.
Knowing how to use your equipment, even if you got cheap equipment, you can make good barbecue.
But the secret is the chef and our rig. We have the best rig.
Everybody else has these huge rigs, and we have like the stuff you buy at Academy.
Just poison the rest of the teams. They're so good. It was called Vintage today by the Chapuntic Country Club. They call my pit vintage, and I kind of chuckled at that. I said, I guess it is compared to what everybody else
like
does,
the pits on it. It looks
but it gets the job done.
Welcome to Celebrating Culture. I'm here today post-party with Mickey Hanning of Running with the Bulls. That's NOLA Bulls, and they do it a little bit different than they do in Spain. Mickey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So how did you come up with this great concept of having roller derby bulls?
So it started Mardi Gras Day 2007. We were out in the streets, and one of my friends had just run with the bulls in Spain the year before, and I had done it in 2002. So we were just sharing our experience, talking about it, and just a little light bulb went off, and I said, why don't we recreate our own thing here? We'll have the wives chase the husbands. And when we started talking to a couple of other friends, Dylan and Tracy, who were the other original organizers, Tracy at the time had just started roller skating with the Big Easy Roller Girls, and she said, why don't we ask them?
It's grown so much now. It's not just Big Easy Roller Girls. There's 400 roller girls there.
Yeah, there's quite a few. They come from all over the country. And I think the last, when I checked registrations this year, we had about 35 states represented.
They have a tournament after?
They do. They come in. This is one of the times when they get to get together with 35 different teams represented. You can put together a bunch of different teams and get to play with each other, against each other, and just have what they call a mashup, and it's really cool.
You did pick 2 nonprofits.
We do. We represent 2 nonprofits. One is Big Easy Animal Rescue, which is a small no-kill shelter based in the French Quarter. And the second is Beth's Friends Forever, which is we started a couple years ago after my wife went through cancer. That donates money directly to women who are fighting cancer in the New Orleans area.
Saturday morning, you have a big fanfare before pre-race.
Yeah, it's fun. We open the doors at 6:30 in the morning. Then we have a procession of San Fermin that follows through, and it's a very cool Spanish-style procession.
It was very serious in a way.
Yeah,
very respectful. And then 8 a.m. it starts.
8 a.m. man. We have one of the greatest MCs in the history of events, the Reverend Psych Ward, does an invocation every year that people come from. I think they come from that just as much as they do to run with the bulls.
Awesome. And how many of you little chickens are San Fermin virgins? You have never heard a celebration of virginity like that right there.
At 8 a.m. sharp, we release a couple hundred bulls to run through the streets or skate through the streets and issue the pain.
Some give a tap, some give a whack.
Yeah, I think with experience comes pain.
But also you have regulations on the bats.
We do.
So you do run this as a very sophisticated event.
We learn as we go as well. We've had some issues in years past with bats that were a little less safe, I guess. So we had to regulate what they can use out there.
Costume contest?
Yeah, man, the hours they put into some of these costumes are amazing.
You got the Elvis people in there?
Who are the Rolling Elvi have been with us since year 2, believe it or not.
And you had dinosaurs, so 2 dinosaurs dressed up.
They made their first showing, I think, a year ago.
And then inside, you've got a great DJ, post-party, you've got food. It's a festival, really.
Yeah, food trucks. We have some great merchandise.
Again, there's people from out of state that come here.
Oh.
This is like going to Spain.
There was 48 states, almost 50 states this year represented in registrations. We had people in from Australia, from Britain, from in years past, Germany.
If somebody wants to do it, how do they find you guys and where do they go?
All the information is at nolabulls.com, or you follow us on Facebook. We have a great Twitter following. We have great Instagram accounts.
Mickey, thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Congratulations for bringing a great event to New Orleans.
Thank you, and best of luck to you guys.
All right.
We're super excited. We're going to have a really fun day all day. We're going to stay here again tonight. You get kind of enticed with the fun of the event, but then for the competitive side of you, you get to play against all these girls from all these different leagues that you never get to play with, and they come to Running of the Bulls and you get to play with them the next day.
It's a nice way to give to the community and have a really good time. There's some bulls that just give you a nice little boop, and there's some bulls that have that.
They're angry.
They're angry bulls. Yes.
Oh, really?
They want
the scream.
Yeah.
My favorite event of the year. The dino outfit is a little hot. So hydration is really important.
Now, you were
on the route.
dancing a lot of moves for the whole time. Do you have to practice those moves? You do.
Yeah, hours. ¿Por qué no?
And then I welcome to Celebrating Culture. Social philanthropy is a big part of Louisiana, and Lora Ann Chaisson is doing one of the best social philanthropy programs I know. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us, we're at Ile-des-Jean-Charles Marina for a fishing rodeo. What's the cause?
It's called Unmasked Domestic Violence, and it's a program that the Institute for Indian Development runs, and I work with 7 tribes here in Louisiana, and so it's to raise funds because our programs are very small and there's a great need. And so Native American has the highest rate of domestic violence in the United States. We have over 500 missing and murdered Native women and children in the United States and Canada that you do not hear about. Wow. You hear a lot of media on this, a lot of issues, but you don't hear that. And so May 5th is Awareness Day, but the month of October is it's Domestic Violence Awareness, and our governor signed a proclamation to declare this month as Domestic Violence Awareness.
Where else will you go? We're going to be down here, but you're going to be touring the state.
Yes, I have events throughout Louisiana for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and then we also next month is Native American Month, and so we're actually showing the film Wind River, which talks about the missing and murdered Native women and children, which was it was funded by the tribes in the United States, and it was in the theaters. And so now we're gonna actually go out and show it because a lot of people didn't see it.
And today you got help from Nichols State?
Yes, I have Nichols, I have a couple of professors and volunteers. I have my family that's come here. I got friends from the North Shore that's come here to volunteer. And so it's a big family and just friends, just volunteer.
My name's Kellen LaCour-Conant, and I'm the founder and president of the American Association of University Women at Nichols State University. And our organization is a student group of the major nonprofit AAUW, which is devoted to advancing the empowerment of gender equity and empowering women and girls through education, philanthropy, research, and advocacy. And so what we do on campus is give women students space to practice their leadership skills, practice their speaking, connect them to scholarship and health and wellness resources, provide mentorship, and as well as do philanthropy events specifically related to women's health and women's wellness, like domestic violence and breast cancer awareness.
You guys have a good team here today to help Lora Ann.
Those who couldn't come down, we ask that they, sign a banner of support saying that they stand up against domestic violence and just offer words of encouragement. And we have some letters from students as well to give to domestic violence victims at our local shelter. So I'm glad that we could get some students down because some of them have never been to a fishing rodeo too or have never been fishing.
This is a unique way to bring awareness, isn't it?
It is a perfect event for where we are because people grow up fishing, living on the water. So it's not just a sad, depressing event to talk about how much pain there is. It's a celebration of this culture and the community and reminding people that violence affects everyone as a community. So a better way to bring people together and support each other than, a fishing rodeo and a cookout.
The Saints help.
Drew Brees gave me an autographed Drew Brees cleat. And so we also have boiling pots. We have different items throughout, that people has donated. One of my friends donated our offshore charter fishing that's worth $1,200. Strongheart is also the first Native American domestic hotline that we have in the United States. I have a 24-hour hotline also. But then in my brochure, there's also domestic violence, and then they have the Strongheart out of Minnesota, which is a national. And people could call, yeah. And we also assist with if someone wants to get out of that situation, we do safety planning and if they don't have an education or don't have a job or any job skills, we actually work with them in order to do that. Our program is not just a short-term temporary thing. I work with all the shelters in Louisiana and to be able to house our people there.
So this was your second.
Second, yes.
So is it always going to be the first Saturday in October?
Well, last year was the last day of September, the first day of October, and then this year is the first weekend.
So that's when people...
So we're going to try to, keep that.
So if they want to keep it on their calendars for
Yes.
next year,
Yes.
start thinking the first weekend in
Yes.
October,
Yes.
come down to Ile de Jean Charles.
Correct.
A lot of good prizes, great food.
A lot of prizes. I'm really surprised. I mean, I have probably 40 donations.
40 donations?
Yes. Yes.
So the community's really growing.
Oh,
They've got
yeah.
the colleges, the saints, the fishermen.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of boats out there right
Right.
now. If somebody wants to reach you,
Just look at Google Institute for Indian Development Domestic Violence Program.
Okay,
And
and
they have my phone number, my 24-hour number, my email, our website, everything.
I want to wish you the best
Thank
and many more successful
Thank you. I appreciate
rodeos.
it. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with more Celebrating Culture. Welcome to Celebrating Culture. We produce a show about all the cultural activities in Louisiana, but one area where we need to focus on, and that is human trafficking and sex slavery, which is very big today. My guest today is Sal Perricone, who's an author, and he wrote the book, The Shadows of Nazareth. Sal, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Glad to meet you.
Sal, I understand you had an amazing career learning about this before you wrote it. You were a policeman, FBI agent, a prosecutor, and then you realized a lot was going on and you were motivated that after your job there of defending citizens, that you needed to take a step further.
Yeah, Charlie, after I retired, I wanted to write, so I wrote several books. This is the second book I've written, and the topic is basically human trafficking and the horrors of human trafficking. And it is a siren song for parents, guardians, coaches, teachers to be more involved in their children's lives, because if they don't do their job, Charlie, someone else is out there waiting to do it for them.
It's really alarming because I read 20 million people a day are still victims of slavery. In New Orleans, we have Covenant House because sex trafficking for Super Bowls is big.
New Orleans is a haven for sex trafficking, as is most port cities are. New Orleans, with its temperate climate, its attractions such as Bourbon Street, it draws young people to the streets of New Orleans.
Now we think of the French Quarter's entertainment, mostly adult entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's now a haven for sex trafficking.
Let me go back to the 1970s when I was a police officer in New Orleans. I used to see the children on the street. And you can tell they were not from New Orleans. They're sleeping in doorways, they're sleeping on benches, they're sleeping on the Riverwalk. They're easy prey for predators to come in, co-opt them, and bring them into the network. And once they're in the network, they get on the circuit and they ride the circuit throughout the United States.
Now, I understand actually that Covenant House starts to train people, and they work with Catholic charities, and they rescue, like I said, 100 people a year in New Orleans.
That's shocking.
Now, I understand you were involved with a big bust that was on Canal Street in New Orleans.
17 years ago, we had the infamous Canal Street brothel, and it caught a lot of attention, but what people don't realize is that that brothel was part of a 5-city network where young ladies were riding the circuit through New Orleans, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and other cities. We shut it down.
You started to realize how big the problem was.
Yeah, we had a wiretap up, and I was listening to the conversations about these girls, particularly one girl wanted to go home. She was tired, and she was threatened that she couldn't leave the life. She stayed, and it really kind of upset me. And then I went to a transnational organized crime conference in Europe, and we talked about the whole network of human trafficking and trafficking of pedophilia, the photographs of children being sexually abused.
January is now Awareness Month because of the Super Bowl. Loyola University has a program teaching awareness just for slavery.
I was reading a newspaper where the city wants to lower the age of strippers to 18. We both know who's fooling who here.
Right,
They're not going to be 18 years old.
Right.
And it just fosters and foments the human trafficking element. We need more awareness on human trafficking, and I hope the book brings the subject matter to the fore. People have told me that they've read the book, they never knew about the problem. I said, this is a real problem. It's been going on for 30, 40 years, and it's getting much worse.
Sal, I want to thank you for all you're doing. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Charlie.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Celebrating Culture. I'm with Beth Salcedo of the Free Indeed Home, which is part of the Louisiana Coalition Against Human Trafficking. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Harriet Tubman had a phrase.
I rescued 1,000 slaves, but I would have rescued
1,000 more had they known they were slaves. And what that means is that most of the time when someone's enslaved, they don't even realize it.
You're saying they don't even realize?
No. These girls don't realize that they've been victimized or that they've been sold or bought, that they've been enslaved. They just know that they have some kind of facsimile of love. They're basically looking for love in all the wrong places.
Now, is the French Quarter of New Orleans primarily where we see the trafficking happen?
It's a very big place, but it's not the only place. In Louisiana, you can go to the smallest town and you will find a child that's been victimized because of child sex trafficking.
Colleges like Loyola University is involved now that are saying that we have a problem here in America of modern day slavery.
When there are statistics that are put out, no one knows how many people or how many children are enslaved, but I can tell you there's a whole lot, just by my experience. There's a lot of children that have been victimized and they have been required to sell their body. The problem is that, like I had just mentioned, most of these children don't know that they are the victim. They think that they're in partnership or that they're in a relationship, and this is what they're supposed to do in a relationship to get him to love me, is I've got to sell my body. So they don't see they've been victimized, but indeed they have been.
So you said children. I mean,
yes.
When people think of this, they might be thinking you mean a 19-year-old.
No.
What are you talking
My
about?
home is for children under 18. My youngest right now is 12. I have seen children that have been victimized as young as 18 months. I literally saw a picture and know a story about a little girl that was sold online on Backpage, and she was about 18 months old, and she was on the trafficker's lap and he was selling her. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, they do, that children are sold and adult women are sold over 18, but in this industry, the younger the better.
And they just become brainwashed. They feel like
Yes.
that this is a business or this is their boyfriend, that there's a future. And now you have this gorgeous safe house where you've put programs. What type of programs do you have?
Well, our program is very, very tightly wound. It includes education. Of course, most of these girls come and they've missed at least months, a year, 2 years, 3 years of school. So you can't put them back in the school system. Another reason you can't put them in the school system is they will recruit the little girl next to them to go back to their pimp. And they will run away, have the pimp come to school. So we do online virtual school. And then we have tutoring for them. We do activities, independent living skills. And so we teach them to be independent, that, you know, how to open a checking account, how to find, you know, Social Security, how to do all those things, how to care for themselves. We're trying to educate them and equip them so that when they leave, then they can have that fruitful life, that they're not dependent on us. In addition, we give them significant counseling. You can imagine if a child's been sold for sex night after night, for years and years, or even months and months, or even days and days, then they've been sexually raped and they've been traumatized, regardless of whether they think they want to do it or not. They've been exploited. So we do individual therapy, we do group therapy, we do a lot of art and music. We also do a lot of equine therapy.
Yes.
Equine therapy is an amazing therapeutic intervention, and it's with horses. And the crazy thing about the horse is that the horse is the only animal that feels what you feel. So if you're anxious, the horse is going to be anxious. And if you're sad, the horse, or if you're angry, the horse will be angry. And so the girl's job with that therapeutic intervention is to be in a good place. These people up at New Heights Therapy up in Folsom have been so generous. They allow them to volunteer with children, special needs children. So these girls are giving
Yes.
back.
The house you have here, the rooms, it seems like the rooms are designed almost like younger than the girls are.
Right.
What's the reason behind that?
When a child's been traumatized, they stay at that emotional level. And so most of our children have been traumatized 12, 13, 14 years old, even though they're 16 and 17. And so they either act like 7 or 8 or 9-year-olds, or they can be 25-year-olds. Very rarely are they going to act like the teens in their head. So these girls love the rooms that they have because it reminds them of the room that they never had. You know, this is the epitome of the room. Most of them, I've had girls say, Miss Beth, I never not only had my own room, I never had my own bed.
When they're here, you're teaching them cooking skills. There's a kitchen, nice kitchen set up.
Right, they learn all that.
And you're starting to get some popularity. The Exchange Club is working with you now.
The Exchange Club is amazing. We're going to be partnering with them for the ultimate tailgating exchange club event in September, but they have actually given us an obstacle course. There's an obstacle course in the back of the property that these girls use, and it's not really about physical fitness, it's about team cooperation.
Have you seen some success?
Absolutely. We've seen amazing stories of girls buying into the fact that they can have the life that they've always wanted. That, you know, and so many times I'll say, when you were young, what did you dream about? And they will generally say, I don't dream anymore, I stopped dreaming. We get them to dream again. We get them to believe in themselves again. And then when they do, then we start making goals like, this is what, you know, what do you need to accomplish that? Do you want your GED? Do you want vocational school? Do you want to go to college? What do you want? Where do you want to live? And we work on setting that up with lots of times Department of Children and Family Services and other agencies. We've had several girls that have graduated with their high set. It used to be GED, but it's high set now. And yeah, it brings tears to my eyes. I feel like they're all my children.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We always thought that it was going to Bangkok,
right,
or going overseas, but it's
right,
really in America.
Well, you know, the difference between children in America and children overseas and young women overseas, I see a strong difference. I do believe that there are children in the whole world, and adult women and even men, that are physically enslaved. But our children are trauma bonded in their head, in their mind. They believe that this is all they can have, and that this trafficker is somebody that loves them, and that's so much harder to break for them to see that, no, it's not a gate that has to open. You have to be able to see that, and that's something they have to come to themselves. So it's very, very traumatic for them. I can tell you, you can go to anywhere in New Orleans in any month, on any day, and find children anywhere that are enslaved.
There's so much potential for us to help these young girls and have great lives.
Right.
Beth, I want to thank you for being on this show. And if anybody wants to reach out, do you have a website? Or?
Yes, it would be LACAHT, LACAHT, Louisiana Coalition Against Human Trafficking, LACAHT.org.
Thank you for all you and your husband are doing to create a safe house for these women. We have a serious problem in the United States right now with human trafficking, and it takes a lot of people stepping up to the plate to do it. So if you can help Beth and their efforts, please do so. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Celebrating Culture and Social Philanthropy in the New Orleans area. People are volunteering a lot of time and money to help those in child advocacy, human trafficking, and other women's issues. I'm coming to you from Audubon Park in New Orleans, which is near Eden House. Eden House is another great facility that gives people who have been human trafficked a second chance. Eden House, the free Indeed Home, and other facilities like to maintain their privacy so that the predators cannot interfere with the rehabilitation of these juveniles. We encourage you to look up the websites of these facilities and make a donation or see how you can get involved, because human trafficking is a major issue in America today.